Hi guys, welcome back to another production meeting. We're all back. We're happy today. I don't know. I think all of us need like a cup of coffee or something. We're all a little down.
we've all had long days, man.
Yeah, apparently,
Even on our days off.
it's a long day. What did you guys do this week?
I feel like I need to just start incorporating. I played Breath of the Wild, and then insert homework, and that's my week. Because that's verbatim what I did. Watched Loki, watched Black Widow. I don't know if this counts as extra homework. I watched it twice. I watched it with the majority of the group here, and then I watched it with my wife again on Monday. And then I played the game. That's it. Yeah, I didn't do anything else, and then worked.
Boring. Work, nothing else.
I need to keep a list because I'm sitting here trying to think, dang, what did I do this week? I know I did something, but literally I'm like, all right, I went and saw that movie with you guys, and then I worked, and I worked some more, and I worked a little more.
It's like, oh man, that was you at that place? Yeah, I remember seeing you there.
And then I'm here. I mean, I've told Alex earlier, I've played, the only game I've really played a little bit of was a Plague Tale, which is it's free if you have a PS5. I'm not sure how much is it. It's no more than $20. I think if you just buy it outright, but it's actually fairly fun from what I've played. If you don't like rats, though, I do not recommend it because there are a lot of rats.
Would you compare this to? Remember the game we were playing a while ago? What was that called? The co-op game. It's like Man of Medan. Is it anything like that at all?
That's you. What?
Remember that?
You know them. I know, man. Yeah, no. Well, this takes place in like probably the 1700s and maybe 18
no.
in France. So no.
Oh. Okay.
It's about the plague.
I don't know why the gameplay style makes me think of it, like just from shots, but I know nothing of it. I too have a PS5, but I've downloaded it. I have it on here. My PS5 is right here in the corner. You can't see it, but I have it, and I want to start playing that from the good recommendations from Mr. Ivy.
Yeah. Well, I say that I've only literally played like maybe a quarter to a third of the game. That is approximately, from what I hear, like 13 hours. So who knows?
So let's round that up to like, or no, round it down to 12, just to make it simple. So yeah, you played somewhere around 3.5
3 to 4 hours. Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, I mean, that's something substantial.
I'm sure watch something too. And I'm sure what'll happen is Ryan will say what he's done. It'll jog my memory, and then I'll interrupt him and be like, yeah, I did that too.
It's a staple of every conversation we have.
Without further ado, Ryan, what did you do this week, man?
I'll try to make it really hard to interrupt. I watched Fear Street and the homework.
Well, see, that's even better than me, man. I haven't watched it because our thing is we're watching it on Thursdays now, so I'm a film behind you. That said, you jogged my memory because I watched Fear Street, the first one, and I had my expectations up really high for it, which is that's my bad. I thought it dragged a lot in the middle, like a huge amount. Not a lot happened, and I'm glad what happened at the end happened. But that middle part was a chore to get through, in my opinion. So the beginning and the end are good, and I can't wait. This next one looks better, and maybe Ryan likes it, maybe he doesn't. Who knows?
Oh, is that a segue?
Yes.
I thought it was good. I liked it better than part one.
It definitely looks more interesting. When I saw the trailer or whatever at the end of the first one, I'm like, wow, that actually looks like something intense might happen. This one was just like, all right, the beginning's cool, and then like a huge tease where I'm like, really, is this super R.L. Stein? Nothing bad's gonna happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, for someone who's not familiar, are these full-length features or are these more like mini series or something?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They're what, an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
if that, an hour 40, something like that. But it's a trilogy of movies. I think the next one comes out this Friday,
Huh.
or the last one, I should say.
So
Maybe.
these are coming out like weekly?
hmm
Yeah,
Oh.
it's this Friday will be the last one.
hmm
Huh. I've never heard of such a type of.
Well, what had
Yeah.
happened? What had happened was that the writer director, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She actually pitched this to Fox, and Fox kind of bought this, and they were going to do this like once, like one in a summer, and so they were going to film these, and they were going to do one, and then in 3 years. So over the next 3 years, it was supposed to, and then the Disney merger happened, and so these films kind of got shelved because I think they were like halfway through production, and then they were like, we can't really stop because we're in the middle of production. And so I think Disney sold the rights to Netflix, and so Netflix just kind of like took them up and was like, okay, finish the movies, and then we'll do it once a month. We'll do like over the summer. It'll be like the Summer of Fear, I think is what the tagline was supposed to be. And then for some reason, Netflix is like, you know what? Screw it. Just put all 3 of them for the next 3 weeks, all in July.
So it sounds like Disney was not grading it on, a ABC scale. It was more of a incomplete or complete kind of deal.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But see, I think Netflix is like the perfect place for these, because if I seen these in the theaters, I would have thought that these were really kind of cheap B movies. You know what I'm saying? And I think it would have deterred or kind of like hurt the film, because they are good films for what they are. And you can tell that these are kind of like a step above made for TV movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Certain things have their meaning.
Yeah. Like it's right.
It's something.
It's teetering.
It's something you could see on like. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that much better than like American Horror Story.
Right.
Hmm.
So, but I did like the first, like the first one was good, and yes, I now seeing the second one, I can understand why it drags, because I also watched Fierce, like the next one in 1978, and this one kind of like it goes right for it, like it picks up right after, obviously because it's a trilogy, but it like really goes for it, and it doesn't really drag as much. Yeah.
I was just worried, literally, that nothing consequential was going to happen in this first movie, and it literally took almost the entire like middle 50 minutes to an hour before anything really consequential happened. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, something please happen. I'm tired of these kids just running around.
Yeah, because, not to really spoil anything, but like I think this one, like stuff starts to happen within like the first 45 minutes.
Okay.
Would you say, Ryan?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
So, no, actually, I'm not going to ask this. That's a spoiler. I'll just watch it and figure out.
Yeah.
Because I'm more interested in like how they're going. Because this one was like 90, 95. So go 95, 75, then 98, 78. I don't remember.
Something like that. 94, 78, 16, 66.
I guess this isn't really a spoiler. So obviously it's a trilogy of films, but it's going back in time. But is the 90 plot line consistent? Does it look like it's going to be the main plot line going through
Yes.
the last movie? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I wanted.
Well, okay. I'm trying to say this without actually spoiling the movie, because the plot of this one, 1970, was it 78, is a story being told. Yep. Okay. So it's Karen, what's her name? Karen, Gillian Jacobs.
Yep.
Hereditary.
She's telling the story of what happened. And then, I can't really.
That's all. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering.
And do with that what you will.
Yeah.
But Clint, what did you do this week?
I watched Fear Street. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm like Ryan. I liked it bit more than the first one because of the dragging of the first one. And I like, again, without giving spoilers, but I like how the writers and the director are kind of like smashing these, like these tropes, like the final, especially the final girl trope. Like they kind of take that and they kind of throw it out the window. And a lot of other like horror movie tropes, but like also in like a sense kind of embracing them for what they are. I watched 2 episodes of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Please don't watch that.
Oh, here I was thinking that I actually heard good things about it.
No.
Oh,
It,
Are you gonna finish it?
I don't know. Probably because they're only 4 episodes and they're only like 25 minutes long. So I probably should, just to say that I
Hey.
did.
So you're saying it's that bad? You've only watched 50 minutes of this
Well-
hour and a half, hour and 40-minute program.
Okay, so here's the problem with the animated Resident Evil films, and I'm a huge Resident Evil fan for the games. The games are amazing, but with the films, especially the CGI animated films that coming from Tokyo, you literally have to know like what's going on in this world. Like you have to know the games inside and out. You have to like it's basically the main games. They all have this like flowing storyline, and then the CGI animated series or even the movies, they kind of plug into like gaps into like the games. So if you're not following the games and the storylines of the games and you watch these movies, you're gonna be lost and like what's going on and like what they're talking about. Because like the series Infinite Darkness actually takes place between game 4 and 5. And so like they talk a lot about of like there's little hints and references to like the events of Resident Evil 4. So if you haven't played the game, you're gonna have no idea what they're talking about. And so that's the problem. Plus the what do you call it? They did it in Japanese, and you can tell because it's made for Japanese. So the voiceover is really kind of wonky. So they're speaking in Japanese, or the characters' lips are moving in like Japanese, but they're speaking in English. So it's kind of like it's weird. So
that probably makes it feel like it's gotten rushed. I hate when
Mhm.
products have that kind of deal. Like I remember one of the Kingdom Hearts games had like that. They had Japanese dubbed like lip sync, but it went into English voice acting, and it was just so distracting that it
Mhm.
wasn't. Yeah, so that can. I mean, what might be an okay story, I don't know. I haven't seen any of it, but that might throw it off. Yeah. So
I mean, the story was kind of it's okay. Like it was fine.
that speaks volumes when a diehard fan. Would you consider yourself diehard?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that speaks volumes that you are thinking, this isn't the best.
I mean, I'm kind of excited to see the new movie that's supposed to be out in like September, I think. That's when it's supposed to drop. And I think they're doing like a series. I don't know if it's for Netflix or not. I think it is.
Well, September's right around the corner.
Yep. And then I'm in the first 3 episodes of Stranger Things season 3. I know I'm way behind, but I actually liking season 3 better than season 2. This seems to be a little bit more upbeat. Not upbeat, but like the pacing of it is a little bit faster. That's it. You guys ready for news?
quote unquote news. Why do we need this?
Well, that's funny because we're starting off with why do we need this? So, Silverhawks is getting a revival.
Shut your mouth. We need this.
I don't even know what this is.
You guys are like 10 years too young to know what this is. So it's okay. I vaguely remember this was not a big part of my childhood, but I definitely remember being a huge fan, and then it was gone. Like there was nothing.
Yeah, just like that.
Nothing. So
and then it's gonna come back and you're gonna be like, maybe that should have stayed gone.
there was probably a reason for that. Exactly. Or
Hey.
man, this isn't as good as it used to be, which I don't remember, but I thought it was good before.
Right. So Silverhawks is an 80s cartoon of a I guess they're superheroes or something. Again, I can't remember what they are either. It's
Yeah,
been
I
so
tried to
long.
read the synopsis and I was like, yeah, this sounds dumb, but I still remember loving this show. So whatever.
Team of cyborgs protects Limbo from Monstar and his gang.
What is this, Space Jam?
Yeah, this is the prequel. This is before they started
Yeah.
playing basketball.
This is some quality looking stuff.
Ryan
that-
is all but blown away.
This is some
Alex, we
after
don't need
school.
this.
We don't need it. I can tell
Dude,
you.
but they all were like wearing like these silver or gold outfits, and they all had like little special like hawks that would like help them out and stuff.
Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
It was hella dope.
I remember the rock star. Didn't he have like a guitar and stuff that would like
Yeah, he had like
shoot
a cowboy
or
hat.
s- Yeah.
Yeah. And all like the action figures were all chromed out.
Mm-hmm.
So dope.
Alex, we're being duped. This show doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just making it up on the
I'm gonna look it up and find them on the creation page. For
Do you think if I
IMDb.
start playing the theme song, we'll get hit with a copyright strike?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will.
Show it to us post credit.
Yeah, right. I'll look that up later. But see, I'm halfway in between. This would be kind of cool to see again, but then again, it's like I don't remember most of it.
I don't remember. I'm just here for the curiosity about it, and that's what's kind
Right.
of got me excited, just for maybe like just a taste of that nostalgia, maybe start trickling in. But it'll probably be the most bitter thing ever.
I was
So I'm gonna be
say,
like, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I could have done it. Let me just live with my fuzzy, happy memories of this.
Right.
I don't need to see it again. That was a huge mistake. Now I hate this show. But I say that the Thundercats reboot wasn't horrible. So
It
we'll see.
wasn't.
We'll see.
Oh.
But I remember more of the Thundercats. They haven't put Silverhawks in syndication for a reason, I would think. So
Probably. Yeah, because I think this show kind of got ate up by like He-Man and like
Mm.
it was really kind of in between that He-Man, Transformers, and then like Ninja Turtles. Like it kind
well,
of
it's definitely in that group of shows that I think the toys were made before the show came out.
right,
So
right.
they're like, all right, we need to sell some merch. Here, let's draw these characters up. All right, let's make a TV show out of them.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yay!
Silverhawks.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Witcher season 2 teaser got dropped. Yay! Did you guys see this trailer teaser?
I did not even know that this was a thing yet.
How
I mean,
much
this-
Tom Holland was in it?
Yeah.
0. No Tom Holland. I don't even know where you pulled Tom Holland out.
I was gonna say, is there something
I was just
don't
saying.
know?
No, I
I
was just
don't-
saying that the last teaser that or one of the few that we talked about, you know,
Oh.
Tom Holland was in there for 2 seconds. The new footage from Uncharted.
The
Oh,
infamous
right.
3-second pan shot. Yeah. There was more than that in this teaser. It was about a minute long. So it looked good. I'm kind of excited for this to come back. I'm not gonna lie, I like me some Henry Cavill. So I know I didn't put this on the list, but there was another trailer that was dropped for Titans, Titans season 3. I'm showing this out because I love this show. I don't care how crappy this is, but I like the show. So season 3 is coming. Trailer looked amazing.
Woo.
Awesome.
Titans.
Watch it. Next up, another trailer. What If trailer dropped? Kind of digging this animation style. Did you guys watch this trailer?
Which one?
What If?
Nope.
Mentee.
Do we
I
know what this
did.
is? Okay, thank you, Ryan. What did you think?
Looks awesome. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I as well. September, what does it say? September 23rd or something like
Something
that?
like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the last end of September. Do you two know what this is?
Is it a Disney Plus thing?
It is a Disney Plus thing. It is a Marvel thing.
Yes.
So in the early 80s, well, late 80s, early 90s, there was a comic book series that it was called What If. And so the Watcher, who's going to be played by Jeffrey Wright, brings up these scenarios in each comic, like each each issue was a different what if scenario. So like, what if Wolverine wasn't Weapon X? What if Spider-Man was actually Doctor Strange? Or what if Peter Parker wasn't bit by the spider? Whatever. So it was just like a laundry list of stuff. So these episodes are going to contain is like, what if T'Challa was taken up by the Ravengers instead of
Okay.
Peter Quill.
Peter Quill. Yeah.
Yeah. What if Iron Man was saved by Killmonger? What if, I think the other one, what if Peggy Carter actually took the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? So there's like, I think there's like 6 or 7 episodes of just like these random anthology cartoons.
I hope they don't do just one what if scenario for each individual case. So like you talked about Tony Stark, like what if this? I'd like to see them go a few different ways with that, not one gigantic what if this one scenario happened in this way and then that's all we see. Because I've seen animation productions of, what if Thanos had did this, or what if, because there was a lot of, I even shared it on the page about something, a theory that Doctor Strange like intentionally let that happen to Tony, because something about how his expansion, like his ever expanding like technological prowess is like almost detrimental to the universe or something like that. And it was almost like a way to go out as a hero and then still like keep the universe safe and everything like that. I don't know. It was something like that. But I'd like to see multiple what ifs for one different like scene. That would be cool.
I don't know. Well, I know that the book series, the comic books, it was just one issue. So it was just like, if this little point in time, if something switched, and it was just drove off into this other dimension or whatever.
Well, either way, I'll be most likely watching it. We'll probably be reviewing it by that time.
Probably. Because Disney pays us. They should.
They pay us in excitement.
That's right, guys. I pay you guys because I give Disney money and then they pay us.
It's all circular.
Yeah, it's a circle of life. Okay, so remember that crappy movie we talked about last week? I'm not even.
Which one?
Tomorrow War. Tomorrow War with Mr. Chris Pratt.
I was just thinking to myself, I was like, dang, that movie was so good. I really wish they'd make another one.
Well, your wish came true. Tomorrow War 2 is in development with Amazon.
I was the best review for this, and even I am like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe they're not making a sequel. Maybe they're just trying to make a better movie.
Yeah, sneakily. Like, we're going to just take what happened in the first one and, like, it still happened. But what if it didn't happen? And we have to do it all over again.
And like it starts at the end of the first movie and it's like and he's like, oh man, that was a horrible ending, we need to do this all over again. I'm gonna invent time travel and go back to before when they came and they're like, hey guys, we need to do things better this time. And then they play the whole movie again with better decisions.
No, what they'll do is, I mean, I'm not pitching a funny ending here. I feel like I'm just ruining the joke here, but it'll be some like, oh, well, when they destroyed the machine, a creature got through, and then they find out from the future that the events still happened, and they've got to go fix it again, and it'll be pretty much a retread of the first one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be very likely.
Except this time they give them appropriate weapons. Because they're like, that's dumb.
Because, man,
Grenades.
who knew that only rope and bullets were going to stop these things that are bullet sponges?
Bulletproof sometimes, not always, but sometimes.
Yeah, conveniently sometimes.
Yes.
Or maybe that's what happened with this movie. They're like, all right, man, that's just a dumb idea. And they're like, don't worry about it. The story's okay. We'll just fix it all in the sequel.
Oh, geez. Probably.
Get it all nice and tidy.
Yay, one got through. again, I don't know why I put this in here. Maybe something for us to talk about. Mike Coulter, who actually is Luke Cage, he did an interview about Evil, which I think Matt has seen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so
I have not watched the second season yet, or started the second season, I should say.
So which one's coming out? 3?
The second season. What was that?
Is 2 coming out or 3?
No, season 2 has just started streaming on Peacock.
Okay. Is it Peacock or Paramount?
Paramount. I think you're right. It's Paramount.
Because I remember them renewing it already for season 3. So doing an interview to promote season 2 of Evil, Mike Coulter was asked what he thought about the ending of Luke Cage. He said it was bittersweet and that he didn't really have a like a proper goodbye to the character or whatever, and that there was many different ways that the show could have gone with Jessica Jones and like their kids and all this other stuff. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they should get like a proper ending, or do you think they should just leave it alone?
I don't want to see one MCU show get to come back and finish up. I mean, Daredevil got a nice wrap up, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Luke Cage was, I think by the time Luke Cage finished, that's probably my least favorite of those shows. I don't know.
Can they just take a survey and go, hey guys, which characters don't think got a good enough send off? And then see who raises their hand, and then you just put them all together in one movie again. And then they give them all like one send off. They just blow them all up.
We should just do, I think they should just do another Disney Plus series or movie for Defenders and just kind of bring them in. We've got more of a street level feel, I think, for a lot of the MCU heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start to translate that better than, well, what if they showed up in Endgame? Who cares? Just bigger things happening than I can punch people. So, yeah, I don't think looking back and trying to do one more season is necessarily the healthiest way to go about reincorporating those characters. And you know, you'd have to do Luke Cage, and then you'd have to do Iron Fist, and then you'd start questioning whether the other two needed more attention or less attention. And then Punisher got season 2, but I never even finished season 2, so I don't know if that ended up well. But
yeah, but he shoots people. He doesn't punch people. I mean, he punches people, but he shoots people more.
and
This
stab
becomes
people.
a case of too many cooks. Too many.
I'm still waiting on my weird pseudo Western Iron Fist season 3 that looks intriguingly terrible.
Okay.
But it won't happen.
Well, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of Daredevil, so I think that I think that they should bring this onto Disney Plus. I think they should take these actors and give them jobs because they weren't bad. Like even Finn Jones, like I can't really blame him for the show. I mean, he was kind of terrible in like the first season, but like he kind of like brought it into like the Defenders and season 2 of Iron Fist. Mike Coulter was great as Luke Cage. I think those characters did well, and I think they would translate into the MCU really well, especially if Disney starts to give these shows like these production values that like Loki has and like WandaVision has. So I think they do. I think they should just put them on Hulu, bring them into the MCU. Like the fans want it. Disney knows that they want it. Just give it to them.
But Disney doesn't want it.
I don't care. Okay, so ending the news with some Emmy nominations. The Emmy nominations were
I mean, yay. I mean, that's pretty much like every nomination. I'm like, oh, cool. What? Oh, cool. I'm sorry, those are all my Hamilton nomination sounds.
Oh,
none of which were the cool ones. It was just all the
right. So we'll list off some ones that kind of surprised me. If you guys want to like give some thoughts or whatever. So outstanding drama series, The Boys, really kind of surprised me why this is nominated. It's a really good show. I will grant him that. The Mandalorian is outstanding drama. And Lovecraft Country. Outstanding comedy series, The only one that kind of like Ted Lasso was nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series, The Flight Attendant, which was kind of confused me because it's more of a drama than a comedy, but whatever. Actor kind of surprised me that what's his face? Pedro Pascal was not nominated. But the guy from Bridgerton was nominated, Sterling K. Brown, Billy Porter, Jonathan Majors was nominated, Matthew Race, and Josh O'Connor. Lead actress in a drama. Not really big surprises. The first transgender actress was actually nominated for an actress. MJ Rodriguez for Pose was nominated. That was pretty cool. Giancarlo Esposito was nominated for a supporting actor in drama series. Jason Sudeikis was nominated for Ted Lasso for actor in comedy. I think WandaVision was nominated for best limited series or movie.
Limited series.
Limited series. Paul Bettany was nominated for WandaVision. Elizabeth Olsen was nominated for WandaVision. I think Queen's Gambit was in here too, right?
Yeah, Queen's Gambit was limited series too.
Yeah, limited series. Mayor of Easttown, which I really want to watch because I've heard the really good things.
It's good. It's really good.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like, I think they said that WandaVision walked away with like 23 nominations. Mandalorian was up there with like 20 something. Yeah, WandaVision was nominated for Outstanding Limited Series for 23 nominations. And like I said, I think the Mandalorian walked away with like 20 something. Even Lovecraft Country, I think, walked away with like 20 something. Yeah, you know.
Right.
What's her face? She was nominated for Best Actress.
Catherine Hunt.
No, Janae Smollett,
Oh yeah.
who's in Lovecraft Country as well. She was nominated as well. But yeah, cool beans.
Matt told me earlier in the day that Don Cheadle got a nomination in his
Yes,
90 seconds in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and even the man himself was like, "What?"
yeah.
Dude, I don't know who's rigging this, but Disney must have had a hand in all of these.
Where did he get nominated? That's what I want to know.
He's
Catherine
outstanding guest actor in a drama series.
Oh,
And by guess, I guess you have to be on screen for at least 90 or maybe at least a minute.
wow. Okay.
And boy, what a minute it was.
To put it in perspective, he is also running his competition is Timothy Oliphant and Carl Weathers from The Mandalorian are also in that category.
Right.
Carl Weathers is at least in it a couple episodes. I think Don Cheadle was in the first episode of Falcon, and I'm like,
I don't even remember him in there. That's how
I barely
little he was in.
remember him. I think he was at like the press conference where he was rejecting the shield, and that was it.
He was in the very first episode in like the first 10 minutes of the show, and then he was gone.
Yeah, exactly. So
You mean-
It's like he
Powerful speech.
played his free award nomination card. It's
Right.
like, oh man, can I get that? Let me turn that in right quick.
yeah, you get one of those vouchers when you first become an actor, and they said, "Hey, you can only use this once. Good luck." And then I don't know how long has he been acting for 20 something years, 30
Or maybe,
years.
or maybe it's like a punch card for how many Marvel movies you've been in.
Right?
You're like, all right, they just click it.
Here,
you're
let's
like, all
throw
right.
you a bone.
Thank you, I guess.
But I found that to be the weirdest nomination.
Yeah, so weird.
There's a lot of Disney Plus stuff going on. I mean, very surprising with the WandaVision and the Mandalorian and even the Falcon and Winter Soldier Don Cheadle thing. It's like,
Yeah.
were these people sitting at home during the pandemic just, scrolling their social media and just watching Disney Plus series?
They must have been.
Heck yeah, they were.
Yeah.
I'm very interested. I want to know if Jason Sudeikis is going to win. I really hope he does. That's literally the only thing. That's literally the only one that I have anything invested in. I'm like, all right, man, please let this guy win. There's no reason Ted Lasso should be as good as it is. Literally none.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like that show is literally based on an idea from SNL, and then they made it into a show that has no business being like as good as it does. It is. It's just like I'm really excited for season 2, and it drops like on the 23rd, I think.
I'm excited for season 2. I also am a little nervous because I'm like, all right, did they just hit something right with that first season, and then it's all going to come crashing down in that second season and just not hit it all? And I'm just like, oh, please God, let that not be the case. But we'll see. And hopefully they all vote before that second season comes out.
Yeah, right. But that's it. Do you guys have anything else?
No, let's go to the old news wire, shall we?
Yes.
Nope, not that I remember anything substantial.
It was a really slow week, like even more so than like last week.
Looking, scrolling through.
There are some indie games I remember kind of getting announced or showcased a little more, but nothing big. The only one that stood out, and it comes out in September, it's called Forged in Shadow Turmoil or something. It's FIST, Fist. And I was like, okay, little side scroller kind of platformer, kind of futuristic. It kind of looks like if they didn't take if they took Cyberpunk but like made it like actually good and like just toned it down way down, like simplified the idea, like just make it 2D. I saw that. There's a game called Tribes of Midgard that looks pretty cool. That's kind of like a strategical defense, set up your defense kind of deal game. And then it's all, as you might think, it's Norse mythology based. And that looks really cool. Somebody at work and I were talking about that, and there was a little bit more footage for a game called Jet the Far Shore. That looks okay. Can't really describe that game. It's kind of in its own unique category. Skyward Sword gets its re-release on Switch this upcoming Friday, so I know I'll be getting that. I can't think of anything else game-wise that's happened. And it's thundering outside my window.
Hey, I heard that too, man. Only thing this that I could find is that apparently Greta Gerwig, director of also Lady Bird, to direct Barbie with Margot Robbie. So everyone get excited for that. That's going to start in 2022. So hopefully she makes it tolerable and entertaining.
All right, I'm gonna go get my ticket now. See you guys.
I have faith in her. She's a good director.
And actress, both.
That's all I got.
The only other thing that I can see is that IGN said that Last of Us season 1 will have 10 episodes. So that's a good thing.
10 episodes?
Yep, 10 episodes.
Is there any like start date for that?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not holding my breath either way.
Apparently,
release it, Matt. Stop it. It's not going to be
good. Apparently, James Gunn said that DC approached him about a Superman film. That would have been interesting.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Oh, I would. Speaking of James Gunn, I had a tentative runtime on Suicide Squad, which was 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yay!
Get all the suicides. All the squads.
But that's all I can see as well.
Let's review something, gents.
Yeah, let's do that. We had some
Loki Doki time, my friend.
Yes, it is Loki Doki time. Thank you. I don't know why my brain just froze. So it is Loki Doki time. This is season finale time. So Alex, you're caught up, hopefully.
I am. It took me a second to do it, but I am caught up. I'm
a second?
all the way.
Has it completely digested yet? Are you good?
I think I've got enough of a mental
Okay.
structure to put thoughts to.
All right. So season finale, Sylvie and Loki are at the end of time in the what seems like to be a fortress of solitude or something. So they're at the end of time, and the one who is left behind, who's left standing or left alive or whatever his name is.
I know. I was trying to think of it too. It's like he who outlasts all or something. Like that.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember it either. It's the one who survives. So they finally meet the one timekeeper. Our theory last week was completely wrong. It wasn't Loki.
Good.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised by that. We'll talk about him in spoilers. So, because I think with this episode, we kind of have to talk spoilers.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's probably quick if we just go, "Hey, it's a good episode," or unless somebody doesn't
Disclaimer.
like it.
Are we just going right into spoilers?
I'm gonna say it's a good episode. I'd probably give it a 7, but just for the weight of it, an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'd say an 8.
Ryan?
6.
Wow.
You know what? I think I'm going 6 too.
Wow. All right.
I was afraid I was going to be the only one. High fives, Ryan.
All right. Well, then let's talk some
Spoilers
spoilers.
time.
So the one who survives is Jonathan Majors, who has been cast as Kang the Conqueror for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Still a stupid title, by the way.
It's amazing.
Because they don't say the word quantum enough in the last movie.
The ultimate
and-
slap to the face for people who thought they could criticize an Ant-Man movie.
Right? Yeah. So the whole episode is basically about how Loki and Sylvie are given this opportunity to take over the TVA, and that Mobius is waking up some people in the TVA and letting them know that they are variants of the TVA is full of crap. So Sylvie and Loki are given this opportunity to take over for the TVA and let this guy die, I guess, or live out, whatever, go away. He's basically going to go away. Loki doesn't want that to happen because of the multiple lives, which is kind of weird, and like how he kind of like wants to save the world now. Sylvie does not. She wants this to go all into chaos. So she kills him, and everything goes into chaos, and you can see the timeline start to branch out into the multiverse. The reason why I said again why this is because it's pretty much the episode. Like there's no real kind of way to give a synopsis without giving spoilers. Plus, I think this episode is going to set up everything, like literally everything in the rest of the MCU. So I gave it an 8 because like Matt said, the impact. I loved Jonathan Majors in this show. I don't think that he's Kang though. I think he's one of the variants of Kang the Conqueror, because of the way that Loki kind of like looked at that statue, like this ominous statue at the TVA. So I think Jonathan Majors' character was actually one of the good variants that he was talking about, because he goes in that long speech about how all these variants were going to come and like destroy timeline or whatever. So I think Kang is coming. The way that they kind of set this up, I have this feeling like Kang is actually going to be like the Thanos of this phase, which would make sense in why Fantastic Four is at the end of this phase, because Kang is actually a descendant of Reed Richards, like a very distant future like descendant of Reed Richards, and so he comes back to kind of like be this villain. I can't remember why, but so that's probably why Fantastic Four is at the end of this phase. So, what do you guys think?
I think it bodes well that you have more of a vast knowledge of comic book knowledge, because I think that definitely helps, knowing kind of what's to lie ahead and where it kind of connects.
Mhm.
So because I hadn't watched episode 5, I'll give my thoughts of that going into this one. So 5, I really liked. I was borderline giving that a 9. I really like the variety that it showed, and then it didn't try to do all kinds of crazy things. It was just kind of one controlled environment of, this area. So I really like that episode. But then going into this one, it's like the finale was just kind of not bland, but just like you could see there were a couple weird things. They really, really put effects into like a couple of moments. Like they not broke the bank, but they pushed hard. Like when they were doing the kind of outer view, kind of pan around of whatever this fortress was, it looked really like glossy and like really, really toned up. I mean, it was kind of hard not to notice that. And I was just like, okay, we're just kind of flexing our muscles here on the CGI, I guess. For what reason, I'm not sure. But okay. And then, but really, honestly, again, this is where comic book knowledge helps. If you're just going based on what's happening here, not a lot of happens. I was sitting there and I'm like, 10 minutes has passed. Oh, they're still talking. 15 minutes is passing. Oh, they're still talking. And not a lot is happening. Like, I like, did we figure out what his character's name was? Like
I'll look it up.
Let's just call him. It's a good charismatic character, and it's different from, he's kind of hard to predict how he's gonna kind of come off. And like, he's almost like menacing, but in a really calm way. Is like, I did like that. And it was unpredictable. And then it just kind of like, we get this talky nothing episode, and then we just kind of end with, okay, that's it, season 2. And then, again, we're in spoilers already. Slap, Loki will return for season 2, or is that what it said?
Mhm.
Or somebody?
Yeah.
I'm like, duh, it's his title. I'm just trying to nitpick. But if maybe I had more knowledge, like I keep saying, maybe this would be better. Yeah, it just drug on for me too much, but it's at the same time not surprising, because I mean, most often with better shows, at least in my experience, it's always like the second or third to last episode that really does well, and then the finale always falls flat, typically. This definitely fits that scheme, and it's like, I kind of expected it, so I'm still giving it a 6 because it deserved it. But this show entirely as a whole, easily the best of the Marvel that Disney's given us on Disney Plus. So 6, I would say 7.5 average for the entire series, but 6 for this episode. All right, next thoughts, please.
It's He Who Remains.
He Who Remains.
Oh, I love that song about Metallica. Okay, I see your point there. I like how how did you describe the 5th episode, Alex? You said it was, what did you call it? You said it was
a lot of variety. A lot of variety of Loki.
It was the craziest episode ever, man. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on.
It was easier to follow in my brain because I think it was all because it was in one location most of the time.
That said, my rating on this, I agree with what you said about what was going on in this finale episode. My rating hinges, and this is going out on a limb, on how much weight Jonathan Majors' character carries on going forward.
Mm-hmm.
If it's as big as Clint and I anticipate it to be, then that's why I give it that high score.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I would give it a 7. This is also going to test out Jonathan Majors' acting chops, because I have a feeling he's going to play a variety of characters if what I think is happening is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. That said, I completely I can see why you would call, at least Alex would say, this was a 6 just based on them sitting there and talking. I counterpoint by saying my whole idea or reason I loved this show was because they were I felt like they were building a world. They were adding things that were adding to the universe. And I like this episode because you finally get to that person that at least has the answers, or at least tells you answers that might answer those questions that you've had the whole time. And they're getting to that point. And then and that's why it takes a whole episode, because he's got to explain everything that's been going on, or everything that's going to happen later on in, the next, at least maybe not the next 2 movies, but as soon as Spider-Man happens and Doctor Strange happens and Ant-Man happens, what happens in those movies? My question is, when is season 2 going to come out? Is season 2 going to come out before those 2 movies come out? Or is it going to come out before Doctor Strange?
It's going to be like Christmas next year, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd
So
say June.
yeah. So that's why I enjoyed this episode. I got those answers, and I enjoyed, Jonathan Major. Of course, I was surprised to see him. I don't want to say I was let down. I think I probably would have been more let down if some little Loki comes trotting around. Although it might have been funny if it was Loki and then it was like a fake Loki and then Jonathan Majors pops out. But then they might have been a little too self-aware. But that coming in, almost coming out of left field, it's like, okay, let me accept this, explain what's going on, because that's literally what you said. This whole episode is essentially just people explaining and talking, except, actually, no, even when Owen Wilson's character is talking to what's-her-face, they're asking each other why they were doing what they were doing. And that's about it. So, and then you have your moment with Loki and Sylvie, which they have different opinions. And you also get that dynamic. You come to that line, you cross that line where you feel like Sylvie can't go forward without accomplishing the one thing she is determined to do her entire life. And that's even at the bequest of Loki, she's going to throw him aside and finish what she's got to do. And so now you know where these 2 people stand. So who knows that's going to happen. And I'm sure that's what we're going to end in season 2. Hopefully we'll get her coming back and more of them hopefully hashing things out, because I guess the multiverse is already screwed as it is. So I liked it. That's why I gave it an 8, because it explained everything and it opened all sorts of new doors for the future. I'm sorry, I don't consider it a letdown, because I feel like we had our exciting episode the episode before, and this is what we were getting to now. This was like kind of like the climax. I guess it was still a climax. It really wasn't even a come down. I mean, I guess you could say it was kind of like, hey, all right, we're coasting now. I also think, I can see how it is if you don't. And now we could be wrong about this character. Maybe this isn't King the Conqueror, but even though I'm sure it is, I don't know how much weight he's going to hold. Maybe he's going to be the big baddie. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a segue into the big baddie. Who knows? But at this point, I'm assuming he is. And that's why I enjoyed this episode. And that's why I'm giving it an 8, because I think it opens the door to a whole new phase.
Right. Well, before Ryan starts, sorry, if I lose this thought. So, but I think also, Alex, this is the reason why I gave it so high, is because it explains the multiverse so much better than like Endgame does. And I think it took that like 20-minute speech about like, well, this is what's going to happen and like all this other stuff, and it shows you the impact of everything that's going to happen, instead of Linda Swinton going doink and then watching like this little pathway go another way.
Right. I agree on that.
So I think this does a way better job of even like these shows, or this show specifically has this way of like having the long con and just like explaining the multiverse more than just having like one movie and be like, well, this is what it is, and everybody going cool, and then like walking on. This way it's like it kind of shows you and it breaks it down into the thematic like experience of like these 2 characters, and like this like the impact that it's going to have if these 2 characters can't either save the multiverse or what it's going to do. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I agree with pretty much everything you guys have said. I don't have any points that are to the contrary of anything there. It's just setup. It's just everything is set up for setup for setup for setup for setup to the next $1 billion movie they can make. I don't care. And I was hoping that these shows would be a little different. And even though I didn't like the finale of WandaVision, it felt a little different. It's just everything is just like, oh, look, I feel like we spent 6 episodes invested in a story that exists to set up 2 more story or 3 more stories for more movies that'll exist to set up a finale that's going to exist to restart to go into phase 5 or whatever.
Ryan, we're going to have to wait at least 10 years before you get that climax, man.
Yeah.
Everything's going to build up to that. I'm sorry, sir. That's what happened last time. That's what's going to happen this time. We're lucky, though, if it happens in 10 years. They might push it to 20.
Yeah, right.
And this is why if I made an average rating for everything in the MCU, it actually wouldn't be that high.
Yeah. You can, as a graduation present to your child, you can be like, hey, we're going to go find out what happened to this show 20 years ago.
Yeah. I think it walks the line carefully enough to justify a decent season finale. I was going to make a joke that was going to be like, great, can't wait for the next couple episodes to make more sense. It's a season finale. It can leave things open-ended. That's fine.
Yeah.
And as far as what the story is building up to, I guess it is somewhat of a resolution. But Alex, I'm with you. There's 3 people sitting in a room, and 2 of them got the worst dialogue of this show. You're a liar.
Yeah, right.
How could you do this? Like what are you? Shut up. Like, you're Loki's. And they were just given the dumbest lines. Because Jonathan Majors, I absolutely loved him in this.
Yeah.
Just stole the episode. And rightfully so. But I did not buy what the 2 were given and this to work with in this episode. And then it just ends.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I couldn't agree more. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He put it more astute than I did.
Yeah. I think, I appreciate that. I'm so tired. So that's really nice to hear. Yeah, I don't know. I think my expectations for this show, this show never got as crazy as I was hoping it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this might have been the episode where we could at least tease some things to come. And the closest we got of things to come was the ending from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, a statue. And I'm like, great.
Oh, weren't you heartbroken, though, when Owen Wilson didn't recognize him?
I was heartbroken and also a little upset that the last I saw of Owen Wilson in this show was him not wrapping up his story.
Yeah, right. He didn't get a jet ski.
Well, that was not the same character. That was a different multiverse version of him.
I don't change my point based on which version of Owen Wilson it is. My point is, I feel like there was a lot that just didn't go anywhere. And I get that it's a season 1 finale and we're getting more. And my expectations for that shouldn't be so high. But I feel like there could be a little more here. And instead we got like a little PowerPoint presentation with a little metal visual effects simulation of a bunch of little Jonathan Majors. I'm like, bending the line of show don't tell by barely telling and have someone, or by barely showing and have someone tell it. I'm like, it's still kind of just exposition for most of the episode.
They should have done those like shadow puppets that Harry Potter does.
Yeah, or anything that wasn't just the opening from Black Panther, but with the metallic texture instead of a sand texture. Yeah, I mean, got a good jump scare from Miss Minutes. That was horrifying. I literally jumped, and I was like, "Oh, it's Miss Minutes all along." And I was like, "No, it's stupid." But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was underwhelmed, and it may be just because I'm not thinking as critically right now. I feel like the last couple movies have just really melted my brain as far as being able to dive into good content. So it's still not a bad episode. I don't know what my overall rating for the show is yet. I'll be honest, I'm still teetering between a 7 and an 8. I feel like it's definitely worth an 8, and I still loved the score. But I thought
that was something I didn't even mention, Ryan. Like, I thought it was maybe I don't know. It depends on who you are. Maybe it's lazy. Maybe it's clever how they took the Loki theme song and kind of twisted it into kind of like that maniacal kind of mad scientist kind of way. I mean, it already is that kind of way anyway, but like they twisted it even more so to like here's the big reveal. Like, I'm this person. This has all been planned. You're part of this. You can be this. So I I thought that was effective. Like, I dug that. I was like, I sat there listening to it, and I'm like, I wonder what Ryan thinks of this.
I can't wait to listen to this because I know the release of the first half of the soundtrack, which is for the first 3 episodes that I've listened to. So I can't wait to listen to the rest. The other nitpick I was going to get on, actually, I really didn't like the Loki v. Loki fight. I was like, finally, some sharp choreography and not a ton of quick cuts. And then I was like, oh, this is Tom Hiddleston and What's-Her-Face, which is why none of the missed hits feel at all close to hitting. There's one point where
Like,
she jumps and kick and he dodges or something like that, and there's like a good foot gap, and I'm like, oh, it's because it's the actors. Maybe bring back the quick cuts. It was fine. It felt like, I mean, that's one of those fights, and Marvel does this a lot, where I'm like, oh, let's have two. We're gonna get into this in just a few minutes. Actually, let's have 2 characters fight, and there's obviously no stakes.
Mhm.
So I liked it. Okay, though, there was some emotional stakes to it, and that emotional moment they have was pretty great. It kind of advertises the tiny little twist that's going to happen, but I like that you kind of bring these 2 characters from point A to point B in their character arc, and
thought Frozen.
No.
Expecting.
There he is.
Oh, you froze for a second, Ryan.
oh, that's probably my horrible Wi-Fi.
It's okay.
Where did I stop? Anyway,
Point A to point.
yeah, but I like that you kind of bring these characters along their journeys, and at the end, their journeys were bound to conflict with each other.
Mhm.
My internet connection's unstable. My computer just told me that.
It's okay. We'll tell you when you're
It's
frozen.
okay.
but-
So is Sylvie.
Oh, it's Sylvie.
If it helps, I missed all of the Emmy conversations. All 3 of you guys were frozen, and I was just like,
I don't know
Wow.
if y'all caught that glimpse of light, like
It's
thundering out there. Maybe that's an omen.
Okay, so I give the entire season an 8. I kind of dug the whole season. I'm kind of excited like where Marvel's going to go with this. But real question is 3 Marvel shows, 3 finales. Which one's better?
None of them are great. It's like who is the least slowest horse in this race?
This one by far is the best
Yeah.
one.
Yes, I mean I will say this one. This
Mhm.
Hey.
show overall is great. Like, go ahead, Ryan.
no, yeah, I was just going to agree with you. All.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't even a question. This one by far, and then
Mhm.
WandaVision, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier are like, in my opinion, I think we talked about like how different they are. It's like a hairline that splits them between me. I'm like, this one easily is the best ending of them all, but yeah.
I like my last fights to take place in the daylight, not in the nighttime.
I don't like them to have big particle beams of throwing effects at each other with a CGI background, and then the evil guy shoots at children because they've given half the characters nothing to do the whole show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was-
Well, do we have any other thoughts on Loki?
When does Loki take place?
Now.
Does
That's
it-
real
I've seen
question.
I think I've seen the timeline. I think it's supposed to happen after. Well, obviously, it takes place after Avengers.
Yeah.
ahead.
He takes place as soon as he takes things.
Yeah, I don't know if you can ask when Loki takes
Yeah.
place.
I was about to say, trick question. Takes place on its own timeline.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
It's anytime you want, man.
Anytime you want. You won't. All right. Well, then we are done with Loki Doki time.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon.
Apparently.
Oh,
I'm not sure
because
what
the
other-
ending of the
All right. Yeah. Okay, so we did review another Marvel thing today or this week. We watched Black Panther.
other one,
Yeah.
Uh,
the other black animal.
Yeah. Spider. Black Widow. So this is Natasha. It's in between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity Game. Infinity War. Wow.
He's falling apart. He's breaking.
I'm killing it today. Jeez.
It's okay.
Civil War, Infinity War. This is when this takes place. She's on the run and is somehow like dragged into this conspiracy with the Red Room. Her adoptive sister, Helena Belova, and
Yeah.
something like that. So, and it is her chance to finally put an end to the Red Room, the Soviets. So after I seen it with you two, I gave it some thought, and I would give this an 8, strictly for the fact that she is awesome as Black Widow, as always. Scarlett Johansson. I love Florence Pugh in this movie. I think that she's going to be a great addition to the MCU in any capacity that she's going to be in the MCU. I think that David Harbour kind of like stole some of the scenes that he was in. I think that I think that Florence Pugh is probably the MVP of this movie. I think that David Harbour stole the scenes that he was in. My problem, and I think Ray Winstone was actually a good villain to a point. However, my problem comes with Taskmaster. And I know that we've all seen this all over the social media and everything, and how like a lot of people are upset with the use of Taskmaster. So I won't dive too much into it, but I think that I am hoping that they are going to bring the character back in some form or another. Hopefully with the Thunderbolts, like Helena is. And I do like how, and we'll get into spoilers with this, but I do like how this kind of sets up other things. The other question I have, and my only other problem is like, if she's on the run, and at the end of this movie, we'll talk about the spoilers. Never mind. But I'll give this an 8. I give this an 8.
Your question makes sense. It doesn't sync up as well as it thinks it does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you'll have to refresh my memory because I don't exactly know what we're talking about. And I've seen the movie twice, so that's pretty bad. So there's not too much that Clint's wrong about. Really, it's spot on. I also give this an 8. I really liked it. I think what this movie does well that Loki maybe falls flat on is really establishing itself like kind of, yes, it has ties to obviously other MCU movies, but it really goes hard on being its own thing. Like you could probably watch this movie really without much any other movie to influence you. You could go into this pretty, like, if you just like Scarlett Johansson, but you don't really much like the other MCU movies, you can go into this and be fine, I think, personally. And I think that's really good, where you can kind of, you have your little strings attached, but you really establish firmly that you're your own thing. Her acting's really good. And you were right, Clint. Florence, is it Poe?
Pugh.
The only thing I would say, she doesn't steal the show. She's just a very, very nice complementary piece, I believe. I don't think really one overshadows the other. I think they kind of work well off of each other. Another thing this movie doesn't do that's actually really good is like, it doesn't do it too much, is it's not self-aware too often. Of course they're going to poke fun at themselves every once in a while in a superhero movie. Like, she's I don't know if it's spoiler, maybe I shouldn't even mention it, but like, they poke fun at themselves, but they don't do it too often, and it's just like
her superhero pose.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know if that was,
it's not really a spoiler.
It's not really a spoiler, but it happens. And it's like, okay, haha, superhero poses, that's made fun of before. Okay. But they didn't harp on it, and they didn't like linger too long. Okay, that's fine. And you were right, David Harbour is didn't I read in that article you shared that he wasn't even like part of it at first? Like, he wasn't in the plans, and then he was just kind of like he happened to be kind of near where they were,
Mhm.
where the setting was, and he was like, "Yeah, you want to be a part of this?" Yeah, he's pretty. He steals a couple of scenes. He's definitely the improv humor that the movie doesn't desperately need, but it helps it a lot. It complements it really well. Um, but again, it never steps too far into that direction or any one direction. So I really like it. The fight scenes are fine. Nothing absolutely crazy. Um, yeah, the overall stories, it's concise, it's simple. Um, and I can say, obviously, because I just said I've seen it this twice. It's definitely as good the second time as it is the first. So, um, like I remember watching Captain Marvel the second time and thinking that was definitely better once you have a little bit of like pre-knowledge going into it again. This felt the exact same. Like I felt I was watching it for the first time again. So really good. All good performances. You are right. Taskmaster is easily the least the worst thing about this movie. From what I know about Taskmaster, apparently he's kind of like a Deadpool, or he or she, depending on how you go, is kind of like a Deadpool where he's like a sarcastic kind of, douchey kind of character. From what I've been told, and yeah, and so with what I was told, I kind of thought, oh, they went the X-Men Origins kind of route with that person, and it just was like, oh, that's a shame because I heard that this character has um, a lot to bring to the table. So they didn't necessarily do the character dirty, but they definitely didn't do it justice. So that is the definitely smudge mark on this movie. But otherwise, a pretty good movie all the way around. I kept thinking, you know what? Even though this will come out on Disney Plus, I may just add this to my MCU collection because I have all the other movies. So I'm done. 8 out of 10.
You guys are crazy. I'm just playing. I give this movie. I'm trying to think. No, a 7 out of 10. Black Widow's man. She's like the movie itself makes fun of it. She's one of them. She's not like top tier. She's right below that of the Avengers. I feel like this movie would have hit a little better had it come out. And I told you guys this probably about 4 years ago, maybe in the timeline.
Oh
right
yeah.
now, it's just kind of like, the thing that I really like about this movie, and the thing that I think elevates this to a 7 for me, which it's a 6 or 7. It's not the greatest film ever. I don't really think it's like an amazing Marvel film. I didn't really like the third act that much. I thought it was super busy. There was way too much stuff going on that was just there was too much blowing up, exploding, running around. It was just too much. I was not a fan of that. But what made this a 7 for me was its introduction of, as Clint said, Mr. Harbor, and as Alex said, Florence Pugh, who I think is a complete upgrade from Scarlett Johansson for this character, who I think is super charismatic, even though she hasn't been in that much stuff. I really liked her in Midsummer, and even Fighting with My Family. I think she's a really good actress, and I think she adds a certain charisma that Scarlett Johansson, even though she's like a talented actress, she just doesn't bring that. I guess Marvel has kind of moved to this like fun thing, and I think Florence brings that as a way that Scarlett just couldn't. So I think that's good, and I enjoyed her character. I enjoyed how it was written. I enjoyed the dialogue. I thought it was funny. That third act, like I said, was just a little too meh for me. I could care less about the Taskmaster or whatever. It was just somebody for them to run around and fight. I mean, I really wasn't invested in that story. Whatever. I just liked it for the side characters and for the dialogue, and it was fun. So 7 out of 10, and that's all I'm going to give without spoilers. You can go, Ryan.
I'm going to agree with most of those points, Matt. I'm going to go ahead and just give it a grounded 6. This is an okay 2 hours and some change. Pros, most of the performances are very good. One in particular wasn't, but I'll get back to him. No, Ray Winston cannot carry a Russian accent.
Wait, that was Russian?
Oh yeah, I didn't recognize it until like.
I thought he was just being English.
Yeah, he gets like 3 lines in, and he leans on it a couple times. Yeah. performances are fine. Florence Pugh and David Harbour do steal the show. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but they were my favorite thing about it too.
Mhm.
And it's kind of saying something because David Harbour is not really used a lot in this movie. He adds a lot to it, but he's not used a lot. He's
Mhm.
not like, if you took him out, probably wouldn't change that much.
Yeah,
But it
probably.
would be a significantly worse movie without him.
Mhm.
And he does add a surprising amount of heart. There's a lot of downtime in the second act of this movie.
Hmm.
And when we went into it, I was like, ugh. This is my favorite parts of the movie. We're just chilling at a house, trying to interpret how this family relationship works. And there was a good bit of heart in that little scenario. And it makes me really, really regret, like Matt said, this not being made earlier. The reasons for it are not good. So I'm not going to help justify it. This should have been made earlier, and it lacked stakes. So the story is definitely where that negative comes in for me, because I'm like, oh, the story doesn't matter. Like, I knew going into it, story can't matter. The villains are both really lame. I mean, I was on board for Taskmaster at first, and then by the end, I was like, I hate everything going on in this story. Like, I didn't care about it. And then they kind of go from a small scale, personal, like, this, we're doing this because it means this to me, to what if I took over the world? And I'm like, shut up. Just be a plot. Just be a little plot. It's fine. It's fine.
Let's walk before we run.
Yes. And I mean, like, even I adore Winter Soldier. And my favorite thing about that is the small scale story. And of course it does have that big, like, the world, two-thirds of the world's going to die or whatever. And I get that that's those big stakes, but I feel like this was always going to get to that big story by the end of it. And I just knew it was going to happen. And it didn't build up to it whatsoever. It just kind of got to the end and it was like, oh, here's the stakes. We also get a lot of protagonists that should be critically injured who just get like slight little injuries. We do a Fast and Furious car flip and everyone's totally fine.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I'm glad you said that. That was the way that happened, I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, movie's got a movie.
And then they top that in the entire last act. So it definitely feels like there's no stakes whatsoever. And if I were watching this 4 years ago, I'd be watching it and saying everyone's going to be fine. But I would have like 5% doubt. And this, I had 0% doubt. Just nothing matters. Everything's just kind of big explosion, collapsing things, excitement, nothing. Everyone's going to be fine. The plot. So I just, Lauren Balf's Hans Zimmer Jr.'s score did an okay job half the time, less than okay job half the time. The film looks fine. It's paced okay. There's fight scenes where there shouldn't be, but it's fine. I was picking on that with Loki, where it's like, oh, let's have two protagonists fight for no reason. There's no reason to have the two. It's in the trailer, but like Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson get into a fight because they can't communicate. Like, okay, this doesn't matter. So there's just a lot of movie.
I can confirm that Michael Bay was not a producer on this. So
Are you telling me, Ryan, that whenever you and your sister have an argument, you guys just don't start throwing hands?
We start throwing hands before the argument, and then we stop and talk out the argument. That's how it's supposed to work.
Okay,
So,
true. I'm sorry, I stand corrected.
and Alex, Michael Bay's movie was last week. That's why,
oh, true.
because he produced Purge.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I will say the goodwill that the first act of this movie, the first and second act of this movie, did carry me through. The cold up, or yeah, the opening sequence was great. Opening credit sequence was great. So it had a strong enough start for me to have an okay time. It's fine. It's a subpar Marvel movie, but it's not Thor: The Dark World.
Whatever, man. I like that movie.
I think that's why I probably dislike the third act as much as I feel like I do, because I did enjoy that second act as much as I did. And then when you get to the third act, you really don't get anything from those characters that I was so involved in before. They don't really have anything to do at the end of the movie except fall and get beat up. And that's about it. I'm like, I get it that it's a Black Widow movie, but at the same time, spoiler alert, guys, she's dead. Can we invest some time and the and the other characters, please have them at least do something remotely successful. Maybe have a good time. Maybe they can help Black Widow out. Oh my God, that'd be crazy. Do something with them. Not have her just save the bad guy, fall like 10,000 feet from the air without a parachute and land on the ground just fine. Can we do something, please? This is her best talent is falling from places and breaking her fall with objects as she's falling down, which apparently you can do with free falling objects. I guess that's a thing. Who knows?
Well, you can catch people with cars. Wait, it's a different universe.
I was gonna say I do agree that, and I remember, I don't know, you guys might be able to quote me, that I remember saying like the movie, while me and Clint think it's good, doesn't quite stick the landing with that kind of messy third act.
It sticks a superhero landing.
Yeah,
it looks good. It doesn't matter.
So can we go ahead and go into spoilers already?
Yes, let's do spoilers.
Spoilers, disclaimer, spoilers. I don't know who else looked at this post-credit scene with her at her grave, and there's Julie Louis-Dreyfus there, and then she's like, you want to know, you want to see who's responsible for your sister's death? And then dun dun dun, it's Hawkeye. I absolutely I know I can't judge the movie really on the post-credit scene, but those post-credit scenes are a part of the movie. They always will be now because everybody staged for that, so it counts. And I hate that. I thought it was so dumb. There's nothing to not expect. It's
what they should have done. She should have been like, who's responsible. You want to see who's responsible for your sister's death, and then handed her the iPad and had the front-facing camera on, and then it just shows her face, and you're like, yeah, you should have been there.
Wow.
You can go home now.
Also, I think if Florence Pugh went and killed Hawkeye, who we've known since 2011, and then they did some redemption arc, I'd be okay with it. I'd forgive her right away.
No, see, that would have been maybe a more effective ending. She would have gone up wherever Hawkeye is, and then she's already on the lookout for him. If she already knew that. We know that he was involved in that scene in Endgame, and obviously we know that he wasn't responsible. He was in fact trying to save her life. But so that's what made it a way crappy cutscene and ending scene. So on a brighter note, I did dig the rendition of Smells Like Teen Spirit at the beginning. While kind of out of place, maybe, I don't know, depends on who you are. I liked it. I dug it. It kind of got me in the mood for whatever this movie was going to be. So, but when you look at the rest of the movie, it felt like, okay, it just kind of is a tone setter, but if you listen to the lyrics, I don't know if it really matches up. Maybe not.
Well, my thing about that is okay. So this is how I'm going to show my age. I think since the beginning of this movie is set in 94 or 95, I think they found the most 90s song that they could think of, and they were like, hey, Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, and they just threw it in there. Now, if this movie was set in 91 or 92, then I can understand why they threw that song in there. But by 95, he was dead. So it was kind of okay, we're gonna get the most 90s song that we can think of and make a rendition of it, and just so that we know that this is in the 90s.
Can we put Sugar Ray in there? No, man, that sucks. You gotta put Nirvana in there.
Yeah. So sorry, that was my only gripe about that song, because I literally was sitting there going, okay.
We're putting Nirvana in here.
I was like,
yeah,
Smells Like Teen Spirit. All right.
So,
but that's my only gripe with the movie, or that song. So to kind of backtrack to what you're saying, this kind of sets up Hawkeye's series.
Oh no, absolutely. I totally got that, but it was really ham-fisted.
I agree with you, Alex, because what the heck would somebody want to get Hawkeye killed for? Doesn't matter. Hawkeye, what kind of evil plot involves taking out the Archer?
Exactly. That's exactly where my brain was going with this. Like, who
Let's take
cares?
out this family man who's off farming and shooting arrows
with his mohawk.
Yeah,
with his mohawk.
they could have given the
So
same
bad.
information in a way different way and have it been a ton more effective. I'm like, I was expecting the the little accordion music, dun, 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 and I'm like, see, this is so cheesy. The way that they present it, and just the combination of just the way they're doing it, plus with it's not Julie Louis Dreyfus's fault. It's just she's too recognizable of face and name that she just doesn't blend in with it well. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess that would be my question would it be as cheesy if we didn't know that she was already there? Because Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Well, see, that brought up the other question. Like, we were supposed to have this before Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was trying to think that. Like, I was like, okay, just pretend that you've already seen her from this, and then no, she's like obscure in both works. She doesn't matter, at least not for another. Like, there'll be another series where she's maybe trickled in a little bit more, and then she's used even more in the second project from now.
So you're telling me, Alex, you can't see Julie Louise Dreyfus in any other projects that aren't Seinfeld or VP or whatever,
or what is it? What's that one? That Christine show, whatever it was called. Yeah.
The New Adventures of Old Christine.
Yeah.
That's so messed up, man. Sorry, typecasted. Those are the only shows you can be in now.
Whatever. So be it.
Just wait till David Schwimmer's in the next one.
Rachel, we were on a break.
I have to respectfully disagree with you, Alex. I think she brings a certain level of sarcasm and kind of like a villainous tone to it. I'm kind of excited to see where she kind of goes with this, because it is different, because she's not like this quirky little woman in the background. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's an awesome actress in these shows that she is in, but like Matt said, she's kind of typecast in these roles where now she's a villain.
I'm sorry for thinking too much of her when she was in a big sitcom for about 10 years and then went to another sitcom for another 8 years.
Well, now she's going to be in Marvel movies for probably about 7 years. So enjoy.
So no, I mean, you obviously can tell she has an agenda just with how she carries herself and what she says. But still, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm judging too much on just 2 appearances out of these shows, but I'm just or out of one show and one movie.
I don't think they're trying to hide it, Alex.
Well, I mean, to Alex's defense, I will agree with you that this last scene felt a little forced, because it just, and I think that if we didn't see her in Falcon and Winter Soldier, then it'd be like, who the hell is this? But now that we know who she is, it kind of felt like, all right, it kind of fell a little flat. Do we need this 8x10 photo of Hawkeye at a distance? No, we don't.
It's not that's also information you can deliver without a picture at all. Be hey, Hawkeye killed your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, we're gonna get more.
That's not as suspenseful as Alex does. You're dun dun dun.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, we're gonna get more and more of this character, and we're gonna get oh man, she's this not big person, but she's this somewhat important person, and then she's gonna end up not being important at all.
She's actually a Krang variant now.
Cool. Still gonna suck.
So to get off this subject into 2 others, let's talk about the 2 elephants in the room. First of all, if she's on the run and she calls in General Ross, how is she still on the run in Avengers Infinity War?
Maybe a cool trailer shot.
My thoughts exactly.
I mean, I think she's just always on the run. Whenever she's not doing stuff, I'm on the run, guys. That's just what she does.
Yeah, I gotta go for a jog.
Yeah, on the run.
Ticket on the run, baby. Sorry.
Okay, so we're just gonna gloss over that. Second one is like, do we think that Taskmaster is gonna be back? Because obviously, like you said, it's a she, was a she villain. So
I think the Mandarin's coming back, and we're on Mandarin number 3. So I wouldn't mind Taskmaster number 2.
is it the third one?
Well, if you count Ben Kingsley and Guy
Ben King-
Pearce,
Okay, yeah.
Huh.
So yeah.
which is
That-
exactly what this twist reminded me of.
I when I saw it the second time, because I didn't notice the first time, you know how they would always say, like, after like Spider-Man Homecoming, they say Spider-Man will be back and blah blah blah. And I was just like trying to see if there was anything like that for obviously it's not Black Widow, but I was just trying to see, like, it'll be Elena will be back for something. And I'm like, nope, didn't see it. I was looking
They're
hard
like,
this time.
Black Widow will be. Oh, too soon.
Will be
Back in Avengers Endgame.
belovedly in our hearts.
Wow. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be the Thunderbolts. Just gonna say. No one listens to me.
All right, I get to be Lionel.
That's the Thundercats.
I know.
Thundercats. Okay.
I think as soon as we meet Ray Winston, I think that's where the whole film just nosedives. Honestly, I couldn't think of a single thing that
He's in the first 20 minutes.
he's in the opening credit sequence.
Yeah.
He's not in the movie until
didn't-
he speaks.
We're talking like a conversation.
Yeah.
We're talking like you need to know him, not like, hey.
I didn't even know he was going to be the villain until we got like mid halfway through the movie exposition, and they were like, "Oh, he's alive," and I was like, "Oh, that's the guy we saw 2 pictures of in the opening credits." And then, is he in the opening? Does he talk? Is he talk? Oh,
He does.
see, I didn't even recognize him. Gosh, I was just dismissing this villain before I even knew he was going to be the villain. I think as soon as they get there and he speaks, the whole film just goes downhill, because then you get like he and his off accent and the silly Taskmaster twist, and then Black Widow is just totally not she said she's okay with like collateral damage. You saw a child, you said it was okay. That's not collateral damage, but anyway, it's fine. And then like, oh, he's got this pheromone thing that keeps what? And then she just breaks her nose on a desk. But I guess when Florence Pugh wants to kill him, no pheromone works there, because she just blows up his helicopter or plane, and then that's it. That's all we get from that villain is like a fiery explosion, and the other villain gets redeemed. So it's like this movie doesn't care at all about its last act. It just wants to be as big as possible, or as cool
Only
as
when they
possible.
could smell him, Ryan. Only when they could.
Which is so. Oh, I feel like there's so many other ways you could deal. Like walk in the door and shoot him. Right?
Well, like, what if he just had this gimmick where he just never showers and he was like the most filthiest person ever? And he's like, I have to make sure my pheromones are everywhere.
You know, I might find that interesting, because I can't name one actual trait about this guy.
I didn't even realize he was Russian, to be perfectly fair. I thought he was British, and I thought he was out of a Guy Ritchie movie. I was waiting for Jason Statham to show up and punch somebody, preferably him in the face.
Also, I don't understand the whole part of the finale has this connection where he's like, no, I have an Avenger. And then she gets beaten in a fight by like a couple Black Widows. And I'm like, well, you don't have much worse than her. Like, yeah, they're a little bit worse, but you don't need, it's like if you got like a really, really nice ballpoint pen, you don't need like a Sharpie pen. You're already writing better than everyone who has like crappy pens.
Like a stick.
All right.
That's funny.
And then everything explodes and falls from the sky, and everybody just falls.
Why are things always falling from the sky in these movies?
Because they're not big and cool enough. We just sell a massive finale. People aren't going to see it if it's grounded in reality.
Yeah, we have to have sky fortresses everywhere. Everywhere.
Which kind of brings up another point is like, you know, with all the helipads that are run around, that Shield has run around, and no one's seen this in the sky.
Yeah, nobody
Kind of like noticed this was in the sky. I will say that I did give this a name because of the excitement and like I love Florence Pugh. I think that she's gonna be an amazing addition, like I've said. Um, love the acting and everything. But I think that you guys are right. I think that if they tweaked certain aspects of this movie, like maybe not have like Scarlett Johansson fall like 13 stories and still kind of like walk away after hitting a dumpster and like all this
Yeah,
stuff on her way down. And the car scene, like it kind of exploded. And yet the two of them just kind of like walk out. I was like, huh, that was rough. And then like
Ma-
walked away.
oh,
And
I'm
then the
bleeding
two
a little.
villains, I think that if they either took one away and upped the other, you know what I'm saying? Like if they took like the Russian guy, if they took him away, made Taskmaster the actual villain, because like Alex said, like he is kind of like this, I would say a Deadpool-esque kind of villain, but he kind of just kind of like pops in and is like, I'm gonna mess up this guy's world for a minute, and then like he leaves, and then like he's gonna mess up this guy's world for a minute and leaves. And he's supposed to be able to mimic fighting styles. He's supposed to mimic like it's not like a photogenic memory, but he kind of mimics things that's supposed to happen.
That's why he gets stuck in a jail cell.
Right.
I was just thinking that.
So, like, if they upped and like made him like the actual villain of the movie, then I think it would have been better. Or if they took Taskmaster out, kept him for like another series or like another like even for Hawkeye, just made him like the villain of Hawkeye, or like put him in somewhere else, like a Spider-Man movie or whatever, and made this I can't remember the guy's name, but Ray Winston like upped him and made him a better villain of a movie, brought the skyscraper out of the sky, put it in some bunker in Russia, it'd be the same thing. But I think better because like Brian said, it'd be a little bit more grounded, a little bit more believable. Because like I said, like nobody's seen this thing floating around Russia. Nobody just is like, hey, there's a huge skyscraper in the sky. That's a little weird.
That's no moon.
Exactly.
Isn't the U.S. government already spying on Russia all the time, let alone like Shield?
Right? Like,
So they probably already know it's there.
yeah.
They just
But
didn't do anything.
They could have been like, hey, Natasha, he's here. Click. So,
I think you're right, Clint. I think it would have been interesting to pitch like an idea where she thought she killed this guy, and his daughter, and then we find out this guy kind of became Taskmaster because he's deformed or scarred, and he did lose his daughter, and then he's got this puppet working for him that's going to be like the public face of, like, oh, I have this business suit guy, and I'm just the grunt, and then you find out like he's the actual bad guy in the first place,
mhm.
and then you've got one real villain. But you can still do your like, oh, I'm not going to talk too much, and you can still have a cool little twist.
Yeah. Or that. Yeah. That's my thoughts. Do we have any other thoughts on Black Widow though?
That was funny.
Twitter /
Yeah, I've got one final thought, and I just think we should all join in a moment of silence, because we've talked about this movie probably for about, I don't know, 35 minutes or so. Talked about everything about it, but just a very, I don't know, maybe 20-minute moment of silence for one Rachel Weisz, who we have not mentioned once at all, who plays.
yeah.
I forgot she was in it. Not literally.
Who plays apparently one of the most memorable roles in this movie. Not even like a small role. She is a very pivotal role in this film. So yeah, thanks, Rachel Weisz. You'll be missed. I enjoyed you in The Mummy.
Yeah, she's fine.
Sorry, Rachel.
She's stuck in a room with two of our favorite actors in this movie at all times. The best she is when she's like trying to stop the engine and then she blows it up. I was like, yeah, you're by yourself now. I can actually pay attention to you acting instead of just David Harbour and Florence Pugh.
But she has the most believable Russian accent in the movie, so
True. I really enjoyed the recurring bit where I can't remember his superhero name, but where David Harbour is definitely Red Guardian, where he's definitely never met Captain America.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because while we were talking, I was thinking of like when he's still in the prison and he's talking to the guys that he keeps arm wrestling, and he's like, "Yeah, in 1983, he's something. He has his shield, and I just use it to push him back." And the guy's like, "In 1983, he was still frozen in ice," and he's like, "You calling me a liar?" So that was pretty funny. I do agree.
Yeah.
And I totally missed that the first time I watched it. So I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. What is kind of interesting, Alex, you did mention that he was kind of in London and they just kind of like pitched it to him and he was like, yeah, sure, since I'm here. And they were like, yeah, come on, be in our movie. He was like, okay. He also did, I did read an article with him that he said he actually fought to get that suit into the movie. At first, they didn't want that suit, like his Red Guardian suit in the movie. But apparently, he kind of like fought for it to be in the movie. So
He fought to get it on in the movie too.
Yeah, right.
he did.
I would not mind if they bring that kind of idea back of like if well it'd be kind of hard. I guess maybe you'd have to be in a Falcon and Winter so or against Falcon now. But that would have been cool if they bring up him versus Captain America. I don't know. It's maybe just kind of a small in some small dose. That'd have been kind of a cool thought to kind of at least mention like in a little bit greater detail, but because I think it happens so much that it's almost like the power of suggestion. Like he keeps talking about this. He's like, hey, what did he say about me? Who? Captain America. And then, he just keeps putting that thought in your head and you're like, huh, I wonder what would happen if that happened, So I think that's what happens. And I'm like, okay, I could see this. I'd like to, dive into this more, but, in a diet version.
It'd be he and Bucky, because I don't think that Sam can last against a super soldier like that.
I would be down for that. I mean, because they're super soldiers. Yeah, he says he's the only Russian super soldier.
Well, we got to remember too that Sam can lift a truck.
He has to have his rockets though.
Both raccoons, not just one.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Nada. Okay. So that was Black Widow. Next week we have the pleasure of watching Space Jam.
You say the term pleasure loosely.
I do. Very, very loosely.
Before we got on tonight, I looked up IMDb score and it was even though the movie isn't out yet, it's already got a nice big whopping 4.2 out of 10.
Before we came on tonight, I was thinking of Space Jam and I looked up waterboarding.
And you were like, which would I have more fun doing? You're an idiot.
Let me know when and where.
So this has a whopping, as Alex would like to call it, a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes, and yes, a 4.2 on IMDb.
I mean, that's worthy of a sequel to the first one.
Yeah. I wonder what the first one is.
I will say, Ryan, as
Wow,
a person
that's funny.
who grew up a little bit in the time that was catered to for Space Jam, I will admit that it's nostalgia heavy. It's not a good movie, but
I have a soft spot for it just for one Mr. Bill Murray, and he is not in this one, so no soft spot.
Boo.
We're not pulling our punches here.
Yeah.
So the first one has a 6.4 on MDB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what its Rotten Tomatoes score is, but
I caught a glimpse of the cast just because I loathed myself and I needed to see this. And apparently, spoilers, there's a bunch of different NBA stars in this. Like Anthony Davis is in there somewhere.
Wait, do you not understand how this works?
I do understand how this works. I just didn't think they're.
Do you not see like the first one with like Patrick
Charles
Ewing
Barkley.
and like Charles Barkley?
I understand the concept. I just didn't know who. Didn't know which stars were going to be in there.
I think Damian Lillard is in this.
Correct.
Diana Taurasi.
Correct.
Isn't Sue Bird in this one too?
All right. I thought it was Taurasi, or is it Sue Bird?
Let me double check.
I think it's only the one WNBA player.
Which superstar is going to be in this turd?
We need one WNBA star.
Can we do Pig with Nicolas Cage instead?
I
It does exist. It does exist.
I
It's
know.
getting a theatrical release. We got tickets for tomorrow night.
I was so bummed because Matt, I saw that on our bookings and I was like, oh man. And then oh wait, nope. It just showed a general and I was like, okay, I'll go see this piece of crap.
Okay, so Ernie Johnson, Lil
Mhm.
Rel, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Kyle Kuzma.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna butcher this lady's name.
Clay Thompson.
Cheney, OGWUMIKE.
Yeah, that person.
Yeah. Whoever that is.
Oh man, LeBron James is in this.
Who's he? But yeah, I'll try and see. I'll try and catch Pig at some point. Maybe we'll do a double review, and maybe I'll have to go to another
Oh,
place to
okay.
watch it.
So there's two WNBA. So you're right, Matt. Diana Taurasi is in it, plus this Nika. Oh, I'm not even gonna butcher that. Sorry. But yeah, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Diana Taurasi, Clay Thompson, and Paul Julian. Oh, he's the roadman. Never mind.
Those guys.
Mhm. So
Anyway,
yeah,
Just so everyone hates themselves, I would like you to know, in case you didn't, that Don Cheadle's character's name
AI
Is-
something.
is no, it's Al, or is it
Oh.
IE?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention too much.
I think it's Al G Rhythm.
Oh, algorithm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that. I just read real quick that it was AI. Like I thought he was a computer.
I don't get it.
That's gonna be your. He's already made his review for next week.
I have to write so many reviews for next week. I gotta do Loki, Pig, Escape Room 2, probably the original Space Jam, definitely the new one. We're getting
Ooh.
third Fear Street, and I haven't reviewed the other two.
I'm also going to be doing Escape Room. So yes.
Good, write a review for me.
I'm lit.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of excited about Escape Room 2. Escape Room 1, albeit super flawed, was kind of fun. So
I'm
Escape
excited
Room
in
2,
a way that
hopefully
I
it'll
will
continue.
go see it, but I'm not expecting it better to be a piece of crap.
Oh, I watched Happy Death Day too.
2 or
No, as well.
2?
Yeah. I know this is really late in the game, but I just kind of like threw that because you guys were talking about Escape Room. I was like, what kind of like B-level Blumhouse movie did I watch this week? Oh yeah, I did watch Happy Death Day.
that is a go-to at this household sometimes. Is Happy Death Day. Yeah.
I literally want this chick murdered like in the first 10 minutes. I was like, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I hope she gets stabbed in the face a few times.
Well,
But-
you're in for a treat, sir.
Yeah. So, but she did redeem herself. I was actually quite surprised with the movie. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this as much as I thought.
Yeah, the second one goes a little off the rails, but if you keep it simple, the first one's okay.
Well, a friend of mine doesn't have it on his Voodoo, so I can't really see the second one yet.
It's because I have it on DVD.
Oh man, what's this package?
Oh, the sad thing is, while we were sitting here talking about David Harbour, I actually remembered I did watch another film this week, and I just thought I'd throw it out here.
Okay.
Yeah, Steven Soderbergh's new film came out on HBO, No Sudden
Oh.
Moves, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's not god awful. The only thing, this man uses this super ultra wide lens
Oh
like-
yeah, you told me about this.
for like half the movie, and it makes the background look so round. It's so distracting and so annoying. I don't know who told him that it was a good idea. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna try this out. I'm like, you could have tried it out one scene. You didn't have to do it the whole movie. It's like, I'm trying to make everything look tight. I'm like, no, you're making everything look round by trying to put this whole thing in there. And that's like my biggest criticism for the movie. Also, if you watch it, you can play the game Spot Brendan Fraser, which I watched this movie and didn't realize one of the characters was actually Brendan Fraser because he's
A larger
older.
man. You can say it.
He's got a little more neck now.
Yeah.
So
He's a larger man.
But it's good. It's got a great cast. It's Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, and Don Cheadle. And there's a lot of cameos in there too. A lot of good typecast people. So it's good stuff. I
Ray
recommend.
Liotta?
Ray Liotta, yep. Playing a
I know.
gangsta. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Shocking. All right. Well, do we have anything else? No? All right. Well, I just want to thank everybody for watching or listening to us. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and please leave us a comment down below. We like hearing from people. But since there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. See you guys next week.